Well, during these difficult times, a lot of people are seeing their hours cut at work or maybe being laid off altogether, making it very difficult to make ends meet. And while some companies are offering assistance during this pandemic, those bills, well, they just don't go away. So how can you make paying your bills a little easier or possible at all? Joining us this morning is financial expert and radio host Chris Hogan, who we love having on the show whenever we can get him. Chris, good morning to you. I know you guys are big on getting rid of debt, paying off your bills, building an emergency fund. Does any of that change during all of this?
Well, it's good to be with you too, my friend. You know what? Yeah, we are a fan of getting out of debt and being intentional with money. But right now, the way we're dealing with this unprecedented virus, we're going to have to shift. And I'm telling people, if your income has dropped or been cut, you're going to have to go into conserve mode. And conserve mode means you're not paying anything that's unnecessary. We want to focus on the primary things. And I'm telling people, you have to take care of your four walls. And Scott, by four walls, I'm talking about your shelter. Right. That would be your mortgage or your rent payment, and then your utilities. You got to make sure you're keeping those on, and then you got to make sure you have food and your transportation.
Right. So you're talking about 6 different tips to help people get through this. What are they?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want people to pause and take a deep breath. I mean, you've got to understand this is unprecedented territory and we've got to be much more intentional. Next, I'm telling people to make a list of all your creditors. Make a list of the people that you owe. Write down your account number, the phone number, and how much you typically pay them. It's going to come in handy. Next, I want you to cut all the subscriptions. You know, the gym membership that's closed right now and you can't use. So cut that out so you can have an extra $150, $200 a month to take care of the necessary things. Then next, I want you to have an emergency fund. You know, a lot of people are finding themselves now in a position where they don't have one and they're wishing they did. Next, I want you to look for ways to bring in some additional income. Take on a part-time job with food delivery. We're going to have to get creative right now in this day and age. And then I want you to be clear with this, with the bills. A lot of people are telling me, Chris, I don't have the money to pay. Well, if you don't have the money to pay, you can pay attention. And what I mean by that is you want to reach out and call your creditor. Don't wait on them to call you. You contact them and let them know exactly what you're going through, that your income has been cut back. You can't afford to pay right now. And I also want to encourage people to make a script for yourself. A lot of times people can get nervous if they're dealing with a creditor. So as you're talking to your landlord, be clear about the facts, but don't do this. Don't make a promise to pay just to get off the phone. A lot of people will do that because they're nervous. So I want people to really take these tips into heart. Be proactive, be smart, go into conserve mode. We're going to get through this.
Yeah, those are some great tips, Chris, to take action first, make phone calls. So by doing that, if you make the phone calls and work out a payment plan or something like that with your creditors, can you still get through this with your credit score intact?
Well, I'm telling people as I look at this, and I've been a banker for many, many years, and now I'm on this side as an educator. And the reality is the credit score is not an indication of how well you're doing. A credit score is how much you're managing debt. So I'm telling people, don't worry about your credit score right now. Let's focus on cash. And so when you have that kind of clarity, you can remain focused and take care of the things that are necessary: the shelter, the utilities, food, and transportation.
And you mentioned the security fund that you need to have set aside. If you don't have that, and we all get through this, you guys stress it's really important to have that emergency fund. It's for times like this, right?
You're absolutely right. You know, an emergency fund helps you have some cushion between you and life. And listen, we never know what's going to happen. And so we teach people to get out of debt and build up a fully funded 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Now, I know a lot of people's heads are swimming right now, Scott, with all the information. They can find me at Chris Hogan 360 on YouTube. I've got a lot of videos on there where I talk about this information.
I know you do. I wanted to ask you, how are you and your family and your radio show family? Anything different with you guys? Are you getting through this?
Well, my boys are doing well. They feel a little bit like cooped up in the home, but they're doing really well. And here at work, we're on a skeleton crew, but we're doing a lot of media trying to help people to remain calm, but more importantly, giving them the right tips and steps to take right now. This is a tough time for all of us. And I just want to remind people we're all in this together and we're going to get through it. Let's take it one day at a time and remain clear.
I like that attitude. Chris, thank you so much. Always enjoyed talking to you, and we'll see you the next time you're in studio. video passing through Phoenix.
Thank you, my friend.